$479,462 for Waterman, and $3,532,010. I didn't say that right. $3,532,010. And the total for all of, that's not right. The total for all of those come up to the $8,314,472. That's correct. Okay. Which puts us, it's not exactly where it would be, but also we would have the opportunity for mid-year budget amendments. So that's purpose. It's not proposed, but that's one alternative that we can look at. I'll let Pat address that.
Can't hear you.
I just looked at, there's been so much discussion about basing on historical versus what we have and versus request. So if you look at Community Health Center asked for 150, they had allowable of 98. So I just put it up to 100. Community Medical Care asked for 200, they had 156, so just put it at 160. So you're kind of a little bit more, but following historical. The primary health had 178, so I put it at 180. St. Luke's had 33. I put theirs at 50 only because I think they were the hardest ones to be able to get their grasp around this. Far down from the 100 they were asking for. Livestream at 250 because you do have one clinic open, and then let's see where you are at during mid-year. Livestream left the 563 there, and then just allocated pro rata the two hospitals on the money that was left, and it gave them. I mean, you can give them what they were asking for, but it gave it more than the motion that's on the floor, and it gave them. I mean, that's just where the money is. So it kind of followed historical, and then gave the hospitals the pro rata what was left.
Okay. Again, we do have a motion on the floor and a second. And what do you how do you feel about this proposal?
Can you repeat those last two numbers if you don't mind for Waterman and
for Waterman was $3,479,462. And for LRMC, $3,532,010.
$3,532,000.
3,532,010.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Too many millions. That's getting too late. Okay. To me, it's a more rational approach than just taking a percentage. And as was mentioned, we were taking percentages off of kind of a wish list, and that's not really historical. So I think this is somewhat of a compromise, and it's doable. Probably not going to make anybody completely happy, but there aren't enough dollars to do that.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can tell, I mean, when we talk about the two hospitals, it's basically providing an additional $90,000 to one, and to Florida Waterman, and another $100,000 to LRNC, and it's really, I mean, that it is a little bit more there, but it's really no different than the motion I've already made, which is that none of these the clinics get the money until they're able to document that they, that they've got the services that are allowed, and then if they don't have that, so the money's still left there in our budget, it's still left in our accounts until they're able to document that, and if they can't, then just like this year, those extra funds were allocated. We made the motion, and those funds are going to be allocated to LRMC because into Livestream because they had documented amounts that exceeded their budget. So it's really about the same thing. It's just that it's just where we're putting the money in, and that would give them an additional $100,000 roughly to go ahead and put in their matching funds if they wanted to. I don't have a problem adding that in there.
The thing is, though, when we add it later, these letters of agreement that we're gonna talk about later, they've gotta be entered into by Monday. So if we have leftover money next June for the hospital, they cannot leverage that money. So that is one thing you really wanna consider in doing that.
So we get an history that can clinic money, the hospitals, so we can back from that money.
You can just,
What do you?
you can defund the two clinics and then and add it to the hospital's amount. But then they'll just have to totally 100% fund the clinics, but you can't have any, my understanding is there's no agreement, there's no gentleman's understanding or anything else. It's just,
I think that was a very good suggestion of Ken, and if we have the opportunity to allocate the funds that are designated for our community clinic to the LIP agreement, we would like the opportunity to be able to do that. We would still expect the clinic to submit their claims and justify the amount that they have been budgeted. But if that's a possibility, we certainly would like the opportunity to do that. The LIP agreement does not have to be signed by Monday, so if there's any question on that, we could perhaps review that and determine what the LIP agreement amount would be with or without the community clinic. I assume it would be similar for Leesburg, but since for Florida Hospital Waterman, it is under the same tax ID number as the hospital, so I think that's pretty straightforward, but we would want to make sure that we weren't violating anything doing that.
So if we pull the 100 and 160 out of that, how much matching funds are we talking about being able to receive from $260,000?
which, I'm
About
sorry.
8.5.
If we allow them to do the matching funds that we're talking about,
Right, you'd be pulling out 160 and 180.
right?
What's our?
8.5.
It was 8%, okay. $30,000.
Yeah. 27,000.
One thing I personally, I think this is a pretty good idea what you're doing, but I do, I'm more concerned about live streaming there a little bit. I mean, patients are referred that have mental health are referred by the hospitals to them, and they have a need for it. And I'd certainly like to see that somebody get compensated back to them a little bit. Mental health is a serious problem in our community. It's much overlooked, and we're shorting them a little bit there. If they can get a little additional funds in that we can with the LIP and without making it too much of a problem, I think trying to grab a little bit out from the two hospitals could be a minor amount, could be a big difference to live stream. But that may cause a lot of trouble in our formula.
But the 563 that Pat suggested is the same amount that they were requesting, right?
Right, and then we got 250 for
the clinic that's not.
the clinic that's not there, right, of which they requested 520, so they're short $270,000 roughly from what they requested. So maybe that does distort our historical values a little bit. That's a difficult one, budgeting for something that's not yet built. I'm not going to push it. I just think it's something we need to be cognizant of.
And I absolutely agree with you.
Mental health is a serious problem in our county, in our area. By and large, I am for the revised budget we spoke about here. Based on historical facts, I think it's a good job, a good split up.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. with the 20%.
No, we can just let that die.
That would,
We have a motion and a second. The first motion is still on the floor with the second.
right. I'm okay with the other proposal that's just been made, so that we can withdraw it or vote. I don't know if that's the way to do it, withdraw it.
Withdraw the motion and withdraw the second.
Or just not vote, or, yeah, I'm fine with
Or not,
withdrawing.
or voting. We just need-
Whichever way is.
Yeah, I'll withdraw that, my motion.
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay, do we have an alternative motion? And that being the one that was, that Pat, drew up with the dollar amounts being allocated to the clinics and, behavioral center as, it's $100,000 for the community health center, $160,000 for the community medical care center, $180,000 for Florida Hospital Waterman Community Primary Health Clinic, $50,000 for St. Luke's, $250,000 for Livestream Primary Care Clinics, $563,000 for Livestream Behavioral Center, $3,479,462 for Florida Hospital Waterman, and $3,532,010 for LRMC, for a total of $8,314,472. And if someone would like to.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yeah, yes, I second that.
And is there discussion, was there anything else we needed to add to this?
I would like to add to include clinics with hospitals.
And I think they can do that without, can they do that without our?
No,
Okay, why don't we go through, let's do the allocation, and then like a second motion. Is there any discussion?
Well, but if we allocate, that may hinder our matching, right? If we designate that amount to community, that may hinder the possibility of the matching. So would we just eliminate those and put those two numbers in with?
Good question.
What,
I mean, if we just eliminate them and put them in there, then it's, yeah.
what if we allocate it this way and then make another motion that says that if permitted by law, that those funds that have been allocated to, the two hospital clinics, that those be.
I think it is a good effort to put more money into the clinics, but I think a couple of concerns as we sit there and think about it is there is this idea to get the clinics involved in money, and I know I was up here fighting for every dollar, but that's part of I think why part of why I'm here. But I think let's let the clinics stand as the clinics, so that we can continue to monitor the clinic use. I think that, I mean, I love the idea, but I'm more thinking through it from a public perception standpoint. Let's keep the clinics. Let's keep being able to work with the clinics. I mean, I think they're gonna get funded either way. So I think we'll be okay.
Okay, and Florida Hospital? Does the board agree to not do it at this time?
That's a suggestion.
I think it's a great suggestion, but I also understand the public perception issue.
I'm okay with that. Their idea is we're talking $25,000. It's a lot of money, but they know what to do with it. I'm okay with it.
If there's, is there any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries, the vote is unanimous. Thank you very much. A lot of good discussion. By the way, I've already talked to Pat. Next year, we're going to have more time between the actual setting of the millage and our actual budget allocation. So we'll do it better next year. Okay, we have the letters of agreement. Okay, sorry. We have the letters of agreement with the state of Florida, and,
I will personally transport them to Tallahassee. I will save you your FedEx expenses that you would otherwise incur.
that's good. We put that on our budget too. What do we need to do with these?
Do you want to explain the two different letters of agreement or not?
Well, I mean, I believe you, the total of four, right?
Fine.
Maybe Bill.
Yeah. No,
I have 4.
I'm serious. Okay, we have the old Waterman. Well, actually, the two, they're nearly identical with the exception of how the allocation is. If you look at the last page, they're identified at the bottom where it says North Lake County Hospital District. One says Leesburg Regional, one says Fort Hospital Water, and they say self-funded IGT letter of agreement or self-funded buybacks and self-funded DRPD. And so the Waterman has the $3.1 million, and Leesburg has the $3.3 million. So that's where the hospitals are getting their maximum match on those two documents. So those are the ones that are due in Tallahassee by Monday. It must be signed. Okay.
Can you approve those two? Because they do need to be approved tonight.
Okay, those,
Because the list will change.
Yeah.
and again, those 2 were, which ones?
The one for 3.1,
All right.
3.180594, water. And the other one for 3.321509 for Leesburg.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of agreement between the North Lake County Hospital District and the state of and Leesburg Region for the benefit of Leesburg Regional for the $3,321,509 and the agreement with Florida Waterman Hospital or Florida Waterman Hospital in the amount of $3,180,594.
Do we have a second to put those 2 letters? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And we have 2 others.
Look, there's 3 of them, right? So one of those is for Leesburg Regional in the amount of $542,601. That is actually money that you already have, but it's not part of the discussion on the allocation plan. That is a totally separate issue that Pat and Meredith are holding on to.
Sorry, the board doesn't have a copy of that letter of agreement, so don't look for that one.
Oh, okay, all right.
Do you remember the discussion we had about they had the credit? So we put it totally, the whole credit on a separate letter. And it is not part of the funding that you just approved.
Okay.
If you can approve this one.
Yes, this one is for the benefit of Leesburg Regional Medical Center in the amount of $542,601. And you do not have it basically identical to the others except for the amount of the funding.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve that letter? Agreement. Want to see it?
Is that in addition to the other 2?
Yes, it is.
And then
So did we get a motion or second on that letter?
Yes, we did. Or
You made the
I
motion?
made the motion, yes, I did.
Do we have a second?
I'll second
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We have two more.
Well, and the two more, as Brandon was talking about, they are not, now that those numbers have changed, technically OPP has to generate that, and they're not due till May. But we would like, so that you don't have to worry about this at another meeting, to ask that the chair be authorized in the amount that's left over for both hospitals to enter into LIP agreements in that, because they're identical, the funding numbers just changed, for both Waterman and Leesburg, in the leftover amount of money, which they're busy calculating right now. but you could vote for the leftover, whatever the leftover amount is.
Okay, would somebody like to make that motion? If you're agreeable.
Did you have a question on the lending agreement or what your attention was approved?
What we're talking about is just so specific, the leftover amount.
Correct.
Council motion for that the funding that is available is left over from the two hospitals, and that is left over is appropriated for the appropriate matching fund.
And that the chairperson has the authorization to enter into an agreement once those figures have been determined.
Thank you. The chairperson has that option, and indeed.
Okay, we have a second.
Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Are there any other matters that need to be addressed to achieve the aforementioned goals? Is there any other new business? We do have a press release for a new appointee.
Yes, in your packet, you'll see the press release that the governor sent out appointing Elizabeth Callip to the Lake County Hospital District Board of Trustees. She was not to be sworn in tonight because she had not received the necessary documentation from the governor's office yet. There is a little brief summary of her history, and I don't believe that she's here tonight according to Mr. Braun.
Oh, excuse me, she's over here. Come forward if you would.
Elizabeth, is this?
Yes.
Come on up.
We welcome you and look forward to working with you.
Thank you, I'm very excited.
You may know more about healthcare than we do. So
I don't know about
look
that.
forward to the addition.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You probably could have given us some suggestions.
Happy to listen.
Thank you. Okay, is there anything else?
I don't know if you want to approve the auditor's report from more season.
Yes, before you, the auditor's report.
It wasn't in your packet, we'll give it separately to you tonight.
I realize you haven't had a chance to look in detail, look to it, but we can have a motion to approve, accept and approve. Okay. Is there a second? Is there any further discussion?
I think we're pretty lucky to have them.
Okay, so, have motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. If there's nothing else, we will stay adjourned.
When is our next meeting?
Next meeting.
Please just note on the bottom of your agenda, the next meeting, unless there's a special meeting called, is January 23rd, 2014 at 5:30. It's the last thing on the bottom of your agenda. We can call a special meeting, and probably will need to, but we don't have it scheduled. So the next scheduled meeting at the present time is in January. Yes, we did.
Stand adjourned.